everyone. Greetings from in Uni UK. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Degina Wedderil and I'm the Director of International Students Recruitment within in Uni UK Division, a company of global university systems overseeing international students recruitment for a number of our partner universities. Today, I'm extremely excited to talk about one of our premium partner universities, beautiful Hartpury University. And I'm excited to be joined by a colleague from the university. We have Sarah McCaffrey, International Marketing and Recruitment Manager at Hartpury. Thank you so much for joining us, Sarah.
Thank you for having us, Degina.
And we also have Sukanya from a Uni Marketing team who is helping us to run this webinar smoothly. Just a few housekeeping rules before we'll start talking about Hartpury and all the exciting things there. You're all on mute. If you'd like to ask any questions, feel free to do so. Just pop them into the Q&A section. So that's Q&A section rather than chat section. And we will take them from there at the very end of the webinar. So I really hope you can stay with us till the end of this webinar. This webinar is also being recorded and the recording will be shared with you later on in case if you miss anything. Other than that, sit back and enjoy. And I really hope you find this webinar helpful and inspiring as well. Thank you. I guess, Sarah, it's over to you for a quick introduction, maybe, of your role at Hartpury.
Yes, so I'm Sarah McCaffrey. So I've been working at Hartpury for 5 years now. I'm the International Marketing and Recruitment Manager, and I primarily look after Asia and Middle East. I'm joining you today to kind of talk about Hartpury and all we've got to offer.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Excellent. I guess we'll start with a few questions here, and we will also ask the audience to share their questions later on too. So what does it mean to be a specialist university, and how is it different from a traditional university, Sarah?
So Hartpury is very unique. We are primarily known for key courses in equine, agriculture, sports, and animal degrees. We also offer kind of business degrees as well and psychology on site. We've actually just been voted this year Times Specialist University of the Year. So we're really kind of well known, and that's like a big applause to us in kind of in regards to our specialisms and how we're different and unique. You know, we've kind of really been honoured in that award. So we are different in the way we kind of do our different courses. We're very hands-on learning and we offer very unique courses, but we do those very well at Hartpury.
Fabulous. Thank you, Sarah. And what does Hartpury set itself apart from other UK institutions, and how does Hartpury do it so well?
So what we do, we're very passionate about what we do at Hartpury in these specialist areas. So what we do very, very well in regards to our courses. We're leading in regards to our teaching. We've been recently voted at TEF Gold. And then also in regards to kind of our specialist facilities, we invest in them. So we've recently invested over £50 million in these specialist facilities. And what that does is give these students the most top-notch facilities kind of work on in regards to their area of expertise. Some examples are our equine area. We have our rider performance centre, and our riding simulator is actually one of 3 in Europe and only 1 in the UK. So when we try and look at our equipment, we want to prepare our students to have the best out there and what they'll get into industry. So that's one of the ways we kind of set our ways apart. We've also really well known for our sports academies. So we have 8 sports academies on site, and this is for students to kind of learn and deliver their degree, but then also play their specialist sport as well. And these are selective. So we actually have a short list of students who can go onto our specialist academies to play their sport, and they're very, very in high demand. So what we have there is students who can then go on to then exceed in their specialist sport. So we've had students go on to the Rugby World Cup and play the Football World Cup, and that's men's and women's. We have our Equine Academy, and then we have we have netball in there as well as loads of different range in golf. And in regards to these sports, these students have actually gone on to play at the Asian Games and the Olympics as well. So it's actually performing at really high level. One thing we're really, really proud of this year is the Women's Rugby World Cup. We actually had 15 players who studied at Hartpury go on to play for England and Wales and Ireland. And all through, we had the captains actually come and study at Hartpury. So when we say we deliver well and we produce the best players, we do that as well.
Fantastic. Some remarkable achievements there. Thank you so much for sharing, Sarah. And speaking of facilities, I can see your background of beautiful Hartpury campus, and I have it in mine as well. I think Hartpury is one of the most beautiful universities in the UK. And I visited quite a few universities, so students are very, very lucky to be in that beautiful surrounding.
Yes, it's gorgeous. It's 360 hectares and very rural that we're based on. And that's how we can deliver our specialist areas.
Fantastic. I think for international students coming to the UK who would like to immerse themselves in, British culture, but also nature, and to focus fully on studies, I think it's an amazing environment to be in. Okay, so Hartpury is known for a strong focus on hands-on learning. Could you tell us how this approach benefits students across different disciplines?
Yes, of course. So with all our degrees, we've got very practical degrees that we offer at Hartpury, in regards to equine, animal, and agricultural and sport. So we want to give our students kind of the hands-on learning experience in dealing with them so they become industry ready graduates when they come out. So, for example, on the equine yard, we've got 180 horses on site, and 40 of those are used within practical experience with our lessons. And then we've kind of, with animals, we have over 70 species of animals on site, and that's everything from snakes, aquatics, we have meerkats on site, and anything from small fluffy bunny rabbits, birds on site as well. And then we've also got kind of our agricultural area with we have cows and sheep as well and pigs to kind of learn that farming experience. And then if we kind of go into sport as well, we have we have our academies on site, as I said earlier. So our students can actually learn from professional players on how to kind of coach them, how to do analytics, how to do rehab as well. So we have those players on site to kind of then feed in to the students' learning as well. And then that also benefits of players. We've also got really strong relationships with Gloucester Rugby, and we have the Hartpury Gloucester Rugby Academy that kind of we train as well for women's. So a lot of this practical experience and all these facilities aid our students in kind of getting that hands-on experience in what they can do. We also have 11 businesses on site, so we do practice what we preach. For example, we have a canine hydrotherapy centre and we've also got an equine hydrotherapy centre. So students can actually go into those hydrotherapy centres, work with external clients' animals and kind of get that hands-on experience on how to deal with, say, an injury in a dog or a horse, how to rehab them, learn from experts who can then teach them in kind of the practical ways of dealing with these issues. So we try and really make these graduates come out with those skill sets that they can go out and work into kind of their placement work into their job really, that they want to go into, and really kind of give that practical knowledge as well.
Fabulous. Thank you, Sarah. So many of our international students are drawn to Hartpury's close-knit community. What can they expect from the student experience on campus? I think it's very, very important for international students, especially those perhaps who come for undergraduate studies, but even for postgraduate applicants, for them, it might be also the first experience of studying overseas.
Yes, so Hartpury is very passionate. I say that's probably the top thing that you'll find with us. Whether the students into sports, animal, equine, um, business, we are very passionate about what we do. And with their hobby becoming their degree, really, and their passion becoming their degree, you are surrounded by like-minded people who are also very, very interested and passionate about the subject they're studying. So we really have kind of that real close-knit community. We are a small university, so we've got about 4,500 students on site. So it isn't kind of a large university where you're a number and you kind of get lost in the university environment. It's very small and close knit. So a lot of people know everyone else. They all have kind of good relationships. Even kind of with our academics, they're small class sizes. So people know the academics and the academics know them by name. They know what they're like. They like, they have those close relationships with them. And regards kind of how, even though we're a massive campus, got 360 hectares, but it's kind of a small population of students, it's a very safe rural environment. So as you were saying earlier, you do find a lot of students that are up early, kind of walking the grounds, either playing their sports during their free time. They're out, playing rugby and football, or you'll go to equine yard and people there riding their horses and kind of having that community horse ride, and they go and hack out together. So it's really kind of really nice, small, personal environment that have here at Hartpury.
Oh, that's so lovely. And absolutely agree with you. One of the things I've noticed when visiting Hartpury, and I was lucky to visit a few times, which was amazing, is that everyone knows everyone by name. So not only academics, but also some of the staff members from admissions team, for example, or other professional teams. So it's really, really nice environment, which makes students, especially international students, I guess, feel more at home and not feeling as homesick being away from their home country, which is really nice. So Hartpury's reputation is often linked to its world-class facilities and industry connections, which you mentioned earlier as well. How do these contribute to employability and real-world skills? Because many students would like to gain some experience, whether it's in the UK post-graduation or even during studies or in a different country.
So we've actually got really good employability rates. So 95% of our graduates go on to employed or further study within 18 months. With kind of, we talked about our skill set, the practical skills and the way we teach kind of gives those students those kind of hands-on learning and skills in regards to then going on to their future career. And then we've also kind of got our businesses on site so students can get that practical experience. We have students who come in. So one of our students, he actually worked in the equine therapy centre. And he did that alongside his studies. So eventually he volunteered there, then he got a paid position kind of working there. And the amount of hours that he actually built up allowed him kind of go on then to his next passion, which he wanted to then go on to do a veterinary degree, which are very, very competitive to get into. But actually what they said was because he had so much practical experience, he then kind of went on to that career. We've had also students kind of go in and get their hands-on experience in regards to the equine therapy centre and then go on to become a professional equine therapist on their own right. And kind of that experience kind of going in there has actually made them ready for that employment. We also, we talked about 11 businesses on site that kind of give that hands-on experience for students as well. That helps with employability, but also that helps build those connections. So we have quite a few graduates go on to work for Gloucester Hartpury, for example. We have our equine events on site where kind of we do recruit students to kind of work on our equine events, and then they've kind of used that and their connections to then go on and kind of get their employability afterwards. So it really kind of does help. And what's good about Hartpury is because we've got so many animals and horses and our equine events and our sports events, it does actually give students experience and employability in those kind of areas of their passion and their degree. So they can kind of then get, that experience and then kind of put it into the real world situation.
Wow, fantastic. Some of the great success stories you've shared. Thank you, Sarah. Really, really inspiring. I know you've kind of mentioned this already, but I can see more and more people are joining a little bit later. So it's great to see more attendees from wherever you're joining. Thank you so much for joining us. So what are the main subject areas that Hartpury is most known for internationally?
Okay, so equine is one of our biggest well-known ones. So we kind of world known in regards to our equine degrees, and we've got 8 different degrees under equine, everything kind of from business, equine dentistry, performance and rehabilitation in there as well, and coaching. So we have kind of that world-renowned reputation. Then there's also sport. So as I kind of spoke about earlier, we're known for kind of delivering high degrees of sport, but also we've got our kind of sport academy in training athletes up to become professional sports players. And as I've already kind of mentioned, our players have gone on to play for the Rugby World Cup, the Football World Cup, the Olympics, and then also Asian Games. And also our graduates have also gone on to support those as well. So we've had graduates go on to then support at the Olympics Games, say in kind of physiotherapy or business or coaching as well. And from that kind of success, we've kind of really got those 2 well known globally in regards to what we do. We've also, in regards to our courses, we've got animal and agriculture. So we have 70 species of animals on site. We've got an agriculture on our site as well. And then we also offer degrees in business and psychology. These are relatively new degrees that we do offer, but we have got histories of experience in delivering these, such as our equine business management and our sports business management. We've just kind of made it into a standalone business degree as well. And also in regards to our psychology, we do sports psychology, we do performance psychology as well. So we've just essentially delivered it into his own degree. So we've got lots of experience in delivering these degrees. We just want to kind of make it our standalone degree as well, if anyone kind of wanted to go down that route and didn't want to specialize in a different way. And then kind of, when we're talking about business, you've got 11 businesses on site. So they do get that practical experience of working with different businesses.
Fantastic. Thank you, Sarah. So just to recap for the audience, we have animal and agriculture subject areas. We have sports related subject areas. Equine is obviously one of the well-known for Hartpury. Business psychology you mentioned. Is there anything else that you feel Hartpury is very strong for? Anything you would like to highlight maybe to our audience in terms of the perhaps teaching quality or academic support, or maybe anything else, any other achievements that our audience, especially our partners in different parts of the world, should remember Hartpury for?
Yes, so we have year on year, we get voted in the top 10% of teaching institutions in the UK. So, kind of going back to, we're really well known for that in regards to our TEF Gold. So, we do deliver everything to the kind of highest standard possible. Our graduates, sorry, our teaching staff have kind of got experience in the real world as well, and they're very passionate about that subject area. So we really kind of sow that seed into what we teach and deliver like the latest industry standard with the latest industry facilities as well.
Fabulous. Thank you, Sarah. Um, Okay, so what kind of facilities do you think make Hartpury stand out as a specialist university in the UK?
Okay, this is going to be a long one for you. So behind me, I've got our 360-acre campus, hectare, sorry, campus. So we are a large campus, and we have to be so large because of everything we offer, everything from the land we need for sports, from to the land we need for farming, and then also the land we need to host our animals and our horses in regards to equine. We recently invested 50 million, over 50 million, in regards to keeping our facilities up to date and making sure we've got kind of the latest facilities, but also got capacity to teach what we do. If, say, I start on sport, we've got everything from 9 different pitches on site for football and rugby that students can kind of go in and then kind of play their specialist degree. We've got 2 big sports halls, and then we've got our specialist areas such as our sports physio centre on site. We've got an altitude chamber on site as well, so students can test that altitude. We've got a rehabilitation site as well on there. And in regards to our sports performance, it's really cool. It's like a running track on there, and it's got weighted plates and cameras. So we can actually do the analysis on people, whether that be a student, whether that be someone external, on how, say, they interact, how their form is during running. You know, the altitude chamber helps people see what their carbon dioxide, what their oxygen intake is at that altitude, and making sure they can perform at that kind of peak altitude and peak performance. Kind of going on to equine, we have 8 different arenas. There are international we have international indoor and outdoor arenas, which I think is the largest amount of horse arenas that is probably in the world. We've also got the Rider Performance Centre there as well, which I was talking about, our simulators. So we've got 4 simulators in there. One of them is one of 3 in Europe, and it's the only one in the UK. There's where students can essentially ride on the simulator. It looks like an actual horse. They'll have a screen in the background, and they can do everything from cross country, dressage, show jumping on it as well. But then it also helps our riders perfect their kind of skills in regards to equine there, but also it helps us with our analytics as well. So if you're going into coaching, you can actually see how that rider performs on the horse, how they hold the reins, how they kind of steer the horse, how they kind of the impact and the pressure sensors on their touch as well. And then we've got also kind of equine performance gym. And then we go on to our horse rehabilitation centre. So everything we've got there, from water treadmill, we've got high-speed treadmill, we've got a rehabilitation centre. So our students can kind of get that hands-on learning in regards to that. And then also learn kind of how to rehabilitate a horse professionally. And we have external horses come in, so client horses. So it's kind of learning actually how to interact with those clients as well as their horse. Then we go on to animal. Sorry, my voice is going there. You know, we have 70 species of animals on site, and the reason we have so many is so students can learn how to look after those animals in all different situations. Whether we kind of go for typical pets, so you know, we've got rabbits, guinea pigs on there, we've got birds on site, and then we've got more exotics. So we've got meerkats, we've got prairie dogs. We as I say, we have a lot of different. We have an aquatics room, so it's how those students can handle those animals, how to care for them as well, and then kind of then develops into training as well. So we kind of learn the training. So with the meerkats, we taught them how to, you know, you have a stick and they have to touch a certain area, and that kind of trains them. So it kind of gives all those skills that we want to teach in our degrees and give them that kind of practical learning facilities as well for it. But yeah, in regards to our site, we're a very big site. We've got lots of really cool facilities on site as well that really kind of help the student journey.
Oh, that's fabulous. Thank you, Sarah. And if I may just suggest for our partners or if there are any students present here, perhaps check out Hartpury virtual campus tours as well. You can have an access to via the university's website, so you will get a better feel for the campus. I think that's a great point about Hartpury. The campus and the facilities are amazing. And if you do happen to be in the UK and have some time to visit Hartpury, just please let us know. I think once you are at Hartpury, you will simply fall in love with it. You mentioned, Sarah, earlier that Hartpury is relatively small university in terms of students' numbers. So I would imagine it's a small class sizes, as you mentioned, the academics know students by name. How does it help international students in terms of, succeeding in their futures? Well, in their studies, but also future careers. And obviously, specialist teaching here would benefit students, I would imagine, as well, especially if they decide to go into this kind of subject areas and into this kind of careers in future.
Yeah, so we kind of focus on the small class sizes. So you get probably 20 to 30 students per small class. They'll go into a big lecture where, there's 100, but that kind of small class sizes allows our academics to have that personal relationship with the students. Everyone is known by name. So they have a really good kind of relationship there. And that kind of helps our students, UK and international, if they do, feel homesickness, if they are struggling with anything, we kind of have that really nice relationship with them, and it's a very personal relationship to then kind of support them through that as well. So it's kind of that safe and security of really, really close-knit groups there. And what academics really do care about their students and their successes. So they're always there kind of cheering them on in what they do and really kind of help support them. So it really kind of gives that real personal touch in regards to teaching, and how we also then care about our students as well.
That's brilliant. And I think it's really, really important to students and especially international students coming from overseas. So you wouldn't feel like just a number as you may do if you go to like some big universities and big cities, let's say like London. You will have this personalized approach and access to academics and these outstanding facilities as well. Are there opportunities to collaborate with other departments or disciplines for students?
Yes, yeah. We have lots of kind of ways for students to kind of collaborate. Um, I keep on talking about the 11 businesses on site in regards to those, but also we've got good personal relationships with other businesses external to Hartpury, which are close by. I've talked about Gloucester, Hartpury. We've also got the Forest Green Rovers, which is a football club as well in Gloucestershire, that a lot of our students kind of go there for work experience, placement, and then on to kind of employability as well. Um, Even down the road from us, we have a equine breeding yard, where they breed horses and their future race horses. So students can actually go there, and we've got really good relationship with them, and they do placements and work experience there, and voluntary work. And that kind of gives the students kind of an understanding of that business, understanding of kind of breeding, and then that kind of hands-on experience, and then going into kind of being going into racehorse. Then we've also got Cheltenham Racecourse. That's probably about 20 minutes from Hartpury. So that's one of the big, well-known race courses in the UK. There's probably two that most people know, and that's one of them. So we do kind of have that opportunity for students kind of go out and get that experience. In regards to, say, agriculture, as you probably can see, we're very rural. So there's lots of farms nearby where students can also then kind of go out and get experience or employability, especially in the busy seasons. They're always looking for students to come help, crop the farms or lambing season as well. So there's always these different kind of opportunities nearby, and businesses that we have support with that we can kind of get students involved with.
Excellent. Thank you, Sarah. And I think we should have really started with this question, because we kind of assume that attendees may know that. But in case if they're very new to Hartpury, whether it's our partners or students, where is Hartpury? Because I know it's not that far from big cities, like it's rural, as you mentioned, but it's actually not that far by train from big cities like London, Birmingham, right?
Yes, so we're based in the southwest of the country. So we are to our nearest city centre. We're probably 10-15 minutes to Gloucester city centre, 20 minutes to Cheltenham, which is a really well-known kind of town. We're based in an area of outstanding beauty in the Cotswolds. So it's a very pretty area, very touristy area. But yes, the big cities as well are not too far. So it's 1 hour train or car to Birmingham, to Bristol, 2 hours to London. So it's very kind of easy to get out and do the big city experiences, but also kind of be based in the rural Hartpury environment.
Perfect. Thank you, Sarah. I think it's also important to know with what Sarah has mentioned, the area of outstanding natural beauty in Cotswolds. It's an amazing place to visit. I was lucky to visit it last year. It was beautiful, and it gets really, really touristy, especially during holiday season. So in case if you are international student, and as you know, international students in the UK are allowed to work 20 hours per week if you're studying undergraduate, postgraduate, but you can also work full-time on holidays. Because it's touristy and you would like to gain some experience maybe in hospitality or retail or anything else, you could potentially look into those opportunities there, because there might be plenty there. Because I can see one of the questions here is, can international students still do part-time work? Yes, the answer is you can. And you can work full-time, like I said, during holidays, but also still apply for the graduate route once you have successfully completed and passed your undergraduate or postgraduate degree. What kind of research or innovation is happening at Hartpury?
So there's a lot of research going on at Hartpury. It's really quite difficult for me to answer that because there is quite a few, our specialist areas are so important to us that we do lots of kind of research into those areas in particular. Some cases that I can think of is one, we have a hedgehog. I can't think of the word. It's in regards to managing the population and health of hedgehogs in the local area. And we have had a graduate kind of go on to that kind of being their specialist area in regards to research when they've gone on to deliver their PhD. So they had a tracking dog, and the tracking dog was trained then to kind of go find hedgehogs. And actually our staff then also who work on the canine training course help support in regards to that. We've had everything from looking at dog water bowls and how often they should be cleaned, and what the impact of that could be on regards to the dog's health if it's not regularly. We've also did a massive piece of research in regards to saddle fitting and bridle fitting for horses, and how that can kind of impact the horses, making sure you do the kind of the right way in regards to fitting those. And what's really nice about this research is it's so alone, these areas are really about people's kind of passion projects as well. So people are passionate about it, but actually in regards to real world, a lot of, generally everyday horse owners, everyday dog owners, people who are actually interested in wildlife are actually also passionate about these areas as well. So we do get a lot of kind of noise and attention in regards to actually this is the research we do, but it affects every people in everyday life who have also those same passions. So it's really kind of nice in the way that kind of connects, the UK, but also globally in regards to these interest areas.
Fabulous. Thank you, Sarah. How diverse is Hartpury's international community, and what kind of support does Hartpury offer to international students to adapt, I guess, to the life in the UK a little bit quicker?
Yes, so we have students from about 60 different countries come and study at Hartpury. Because of our specialist areas and kind of how well known we are for the specialist areas, we do have students come from loads of different countries to come and study with us to kind of learn that kind of passionate subject that they're interested in. We support students. We do have an international society on campus. Once again, because of our small numbers, they are very, very engaged in regards to our international society. So a lot of students are really, really involved and passionate about kind of being international and having those relationship with other international students. And it's international students, as I say, from loads of different places. It really kind of gets everyone together who's in that same boat of being from a different country and coming to study in the UK. So like what the International Society did, let's say last year, they set up a WhatsApp group and had all the international current students and all the students who were going to join us join to kind of answer all those kind of everyday questions about what's it like to live, what shall I pack, do you know where I can find a nearest grocery store? They really kind of have that kind of really nice knit kind of in regards to their bonds at Hartpury and kind of building that kind of relationship and that community as well. In regards to support that we offer at Hartpury, we have international welcome. So we do kind of virtual webinars on how to apply for your visa. We have webinars to, kind of packing up and coming to Hartpury and what you need to think about as well. We also, even myself and our team, who, the international recruitment team, we also treat our students like names, not numbers. So we do have students on WhatsApp and WeChat for me in regards to kind of delivering that kind of hand-holding support of, we know who you are and our missions team the same. And, we know what you like. So we build those personal relationships. And because we are relatively small compared to a large university, we have the capacity to be able to do that because of how small we are. It's a good about numbers that we can actually then build those relationships and support our students through their journey, and that's from their initial inquiry to application all the way to when they study here and then graduation. We had graduation last week, and a couple of the students that I've brought in, they're graduating. It's really lovely to see and kind of being there at the end, clapping them through when they walk through and speaking to them. It was really, really lovely, but it really does create those relationships with our students from days up.
Oh, that sounds so lovely. And we actually did meet some international students when visiting Hartpury, and all of them had such a pride of being part of Hartpury community. It's just so nice to hear, and the friendships that they made, which would, I'm sure, will last a lifetime. Um, Remind us, please, where do graduations take place for Hartpury students?
So it takes place at Gloucester Cathedral.
Mhm.
So Gloucester Cathedral is really well known for being in Harry Potter. So the halls you see at Gloucester Cathedral actually are the halls that are at Hogwarts. So it's very magical and it's such a beautiful setting as well for students to have their graduation. And we've even had some students and children actually dress in the full robes of Harry Potter when they come to graduation, because it's kind of special for them.
Fantastic. So that's a really nice fun fact about Hartpury and Hartpury graduation. So if you do study at Hartpury and then you graduate at the Gloucester Cathedral where Harry Potter was filmed, it's a beautiful, beautiful place to visit as well. Excellent. I can see some of those questions you've already answered, but if you can tell us a little bit more, and I know this question comes up a lot when we speak to international students, does Hartpury offer any scholarships for international applicants? I know that the university is still finalizing scholarships for September 2026 intake, but are there any scholarships already that you know of that our applicants could potentially consider?
Yes, we've got a couple more scholarships coming through, and we will share those as soon as they are confirmed. But we have scholarships such as the Vice Chancellor's International Scholarship. So that's £3,000 for the first year of first year off tuition fees. We've also got sports scholarships of that as well. So if someone is outstanding in kind of their sports, we can offer scholarships there. And it doesn't have to be our standard sports that we do. We've had someone kind of inquire and going into ice hockey sports scholarships. So it's really those outstanding players that we're kind of looking for and supporting them. Sorry. We've also got a range of regional scholarships available, so up to £2,000 off for each year tuition fees in certain countries. We've also got our agriculture scholarship as well, which run £2,000 as well for each year tuition fees off. Sorry, that didn't quite come out right there.
That's a
So
great saving. That's excellent. Thank you. Just to remind, sorry to interrupt, Sarah. I know you're having some cough. But just to remind to everyone that degrees in the UK are actually shorter than some other destinations. If we compare, for example, to US, where postgraduate takes 2 years, in the UK you can complete postgraduate degree in 1 year, and undergraduate degree in 3 years, meaning that if you do receive a scholarship of £2,000 per year, you will save £6,000. That's a lot of money.
yeah.
Fabulous. Thank you. I know safety is really important to students and their parents. If you could just please reiterate on safety and how friendly is the area where Hartpury campus is, and yeah, the surrounding area.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. So, we talked about Hartpury and the campus. The campus is behind me, and it's, a campus on its own. So, in regards to safety on site, it's very safe. Um, kind of, it's where students live for their first year undergraduate degrees. They can come here, and it's kind of that own little community. We also have staff on site who are there looking after student well-being as well. So they are there 24 hours a day, where if a student has any issues, they can ring them. So we kind of called the wardening team, so they can be there to help with any students if they're having any issues, anything we've had from, I don't know, the light not turning on and they need a new light bulb, to kind of general kind of well-being. I just needed someone to talk to, chat. We also have a wellbeing team on site as well. So they're there to kind of support any students in anything they need. And in regards to kind of, once again, our small community, it then helps in regards to safety and making sure people are looked after, whether, you have that relationship with your academic. We're there to talk, the international team as well. We have those relationships. So it's kind of really nice, as I say, close-knit community, a small campus that's rural. It kind of makes it very safe in regards to that kind of well-being, but also in regards to the local area as well. And I think a lot of our kind of parents really like that, because you can
Absolutely.
see, when you visit the site, I would say, because it's so rural, you can kind of have that kind of view of, actually it's very nice, it's not a big city, and the worries that come with big cities there as well.
Exactly. And I just feel that people are generally a bit more friendly outside of big cities. So that's a really nice environment for international students to be in. And they can also make some local friends, which is important. It's great to meet people from different parts of the world. But I think, because I was an international student myself back in the day, it's really important to integrate into British culture, make some local friends as well. So it makes you feel a little bit more part of the UK if you come to study in the UK, which is great. Okay, speaking of affordability, I know you've mentioned some great scholarships, and just to reiterate to everyone, normally there are deadlines attached to scholarships, especially such prestigious scholarships as Vice Chancellor scholarships. So please do ensure you submit your applications at the soonest, and the essays to support your scholarship application. But when it comes to accommodation and living cost, again, I would imagine that living in a place outside of big cities like London, Birmingham would be a bit more affordable for international students.
Yes, yeah, definitely. It probably is a lot more, affordable in regards to looking at accommodation as well, and whether that be on campus or accommodation off campus. So we do have accommodation in our local city, which is Gloucester. It's called Blackfriars, and if students kind of don't necessarily want to live in the rural site, want to be part of the city living, that is there available as well. And then we've also, in regards to, because we're 10-15 minutes away from the local city of Gloucester, there's a lot of kind of affordable housing for year 2 and year 3 or postgraduate study as well. But there's also rural housing as well in the local area. Some students go live on local yards, especially if they bring their horse with them to study. So there is, a good plethora of different types of accommodation available to students, or at different price points, but definitely more affordable than you would imagine in London.
Fantastic. So that's really, really good to know. Are there any programs you would like perhaps to highlight, or even generically speaking, are there any work placements or internships that are available to Hartpury students?
So we do have the Hartpury studentship, which is available for students to apply for. So this is usually at postgraduate level. But if you're studying at postgraduate level, we have a range of different studentships, which gives students a chance to work as well as kind of align their studies as well. So roles do come depending on what the need is at Hartpury. But we've had studentships come in animal, sports, and equine. And for example, the sports one was to support with analytics. So that's analytics of games in rugby and football, and assessing those. And what it allowed the student to do is, you put your research into practice, really. You can do your degree and actually practice those analytics skills and kind of have that other skill available to you when it comes to employability. And they're paid as well, which is fantastic for our students. They do hit, the visa requirements as well. So you can be on a student visa and do these studentships as well, because it's within the hours. And it really kind of gives that hands-on experience of being paid and kind of learning that new skill set. So some of our studentships, I'd say that analytics, we've had one which was doing research and supporting PhD research, but also they were doing teaching as well. So in their kind of final, their year of postgraduate, they were actually teaching undergraduate students. So it was really kind of there to give them the extra skill. It's paid work, but also, it really helps them in kind of aligning their passion and studies to their kind of practical world as well.
Fabulous, thank you. So it's a win-win really for international students. You gain some experience, which will enhance your CV and will help your employability post-graduation, but you also will earn some money, which is great.
Yeah.
And I remember some of the postgraduate degrees also included like a sandwich year where students can spend the whole year in the industry. Obviously, they would need to apply, pass the interview, but then if you do secure that work placement, then obviously the degree will be then for 4 years instead of 3, but then the third year they don't actually study, but do a work placement. And what happens sometimes, if they are good, the employer likes them and they like the employer, I guess they actually end up having a full-time job in the same company post-graduation, which is amazing. I think some of the business degrees had that option as well, right? And sports
To be honest,
degrees, I
the
believe.
majority of our degrees have that
Oh,
third
fantastic. Yeah,
placement year option. So whether that's equine, animal, agriculture, business, sport,
fabulous.
there's that third year placement option, which gives them, that hands-on experience. The majority of the roles are paid as well. and they can do their placement wherever they want to in the world. So if it's an international student and they want to go back home to do their placement back home, that is available to them as well. So it really kind of gives them breadth of experience as well. And we do find a lot of the students who have placement year then go on to employability as well with their placement.
Fabulous. And would you recommend students to consider that placement from the start of the application, meaning they would apply for 4 years rather than 3 years to start with, which means they will apply for a longer visa so they don't have to extend it later on in case if they decide and secure the placement in the UK. They can obviously always decide not to go through placement if they want just complete degree quicker for any reason. Sometimes they would like to go back home, maybe support their family business or go elsewhere. But ultimately, if they do decide to go for that sandwich year option, they can actually go for 4 years option from the start, 4 years visa from the start, right?
Yeah, they can go for the 4 year visa as long as they do their placement year. If they then decide later if they didn't want to, obviously could only be studying with Hartpury as long as their visa is, they can only have their visa as long as they're studying at Hartpury, I think the words are. But yes, there is that placement opportunity available and they can pick at the beginning or, pick midway through the first or second year to make that decision.
Fantastic. It just makes their life easier, I guess, and saves them time and money as well in case if they decide to go for placement. Are there any career fairs or networking events for students to meet their potential employers? And would you recommend for students to engage with potential employers from day one?
Oh, yes, absolutely. So we do have a career centre on site as well, where we've got about 10,000 businesses who we have relationships with, whether that's placement or it kind of ends up in their career. And due to the large number of events we have at Hartpury as well, there's lots of opportunities to kind of work and connect with industry professionals and different employers. And we also hold our research events as well each year, which also gives those students another opportunity as well to build those relationships. We're talking about kind of examples before in regards to rugby or sports. We have the relationships with Gloucester Hartpury, with Forest Green Rovers Football Club. So people, we have those kind of relationships and they can come on site to kind of then build up relationships. They do guest lectures as well, or you kind of have your placement and volunteering options and opportunities available there as well. So, and our academics as well, because they are so within the industry, they have those personal connections with the industry. They're very good at kind of recommending if someone wants to go down a particular career route of having connections as well. So we've had a lot of students going, recommendations from the academics as well and that relationship building there.
Fabulous. Thank you, Sarah. And speaking of the employability, are there any stats on how successful are Hartpury graduates in securing jobs or if they decide to pursue further studies, perhaps, but that I would imagine be a research program if they decide to go into teaching, maybe. But in terms of employability, are there any specific stats that you would like to share, maybe, with attendees?
Yeah. So we're pretty relatively high. So 95% of our students are within
Wow,
employability or further study within 18
amazing.
months. So yes.
That just shows that obviously the small class sizes you were talking about earlier, lots of support from academics, but also from the career services team really, really help students to gain those soft skills, succeed obviously in their studies and secure full-time jobs post-graduation as well, which is really amazing to see. This is kind of very broad question and you I think already provided some examples, but maybe just to reiterate the main kind of jobs and industries that Hartpury graduates typically go into.
It's a very hard question that when we get this because we've got such a breadth of kind of courses, across equine, agriculture, sport, animal, business, psychology. They kind of because there's such a breadth of kind of subject areas where the kind of students, graduates go into. Does it's kind of the world's their oyster where they want to go into. We've had some really, strong success stories. I can give you some equines ones, for example. We've had a student kind of do our equine science degree, and they've gone actually to become a nutritionist, equine nutritionist. So in kind of building food brands for horses, which was a really interesting kind of career move. And they did that from nutrition modules, actually, they studied as part of their degree. Another equine student have actually gone on to being within insurance. So it's in regards to equine and horse insurance and event insurance. And their degree in equine has actually really given them that really strong background. And I think they're, earning quite a bit of money in London doing this job, because they kind of got that good equine experience, but also did equine business management. So actually their degree within business and equine complemented that job really well. And then we've also got students and graduates going on to become Olympians and Asian Games. So we've got one graduate who's now circulating the Europe, in regards to all the equine events in Europe, trying to get into the next Olympics. So like that's equine, for example. There is loads of different ways that our students kind of go on with their career.
Excellent, thank you. There is a question in regards with the next available intake. So just to highlight to everyone, next available intake at Hartpury is September 2026. So please obviously apply for the programs available at the earliest, as mentioned. And also if your students are considering scholarships, you would also need to apply for those as soon as possible, especially scholarships like Vice Chancellor scholarship. What sorts of support do academics provide in case, let's say, a student is struggling a little bit with their studies?
So we have kind of a range of support available. So I think that personal relationship really kind of helps them, and it depends where they are within the studies of what they're struggling with. But our academics are very supportive, in kind of making sure our students perform well and also kind of get the support they need. And it's kind of a difficult one in regards to if they are struggling, because they know their students a lot better in regards to the personal relationships. They can actually highlight that a lot quicker and getting that support available to them. So everything kind of is available for in regards to how we can support our students. What they need support in is there and available for our students. But we've had, everything from students who have injured themselves, for example, can't get onto campus, and how we can kind of realign the way their modules are taught, or online learning as well, to kind of help them catch up. And any time they miss, to kind of allow them to catch up on those elements. So there is that nice bit of flexibility as well here at Hartpury.
Fabulous. Thank you, Sarah. And I know the specific country-specific entry criteria are available on Hartpury University's website. But just generically speaking, in terms of students coming from a different background, do all programs at Hartpury, especially postgraduate ones, require relevant background, or would the university consider different background if the student is very passionate about this subject area that they've chosen to study at Hartpury?
So we do have some flexibility in regards to that as well. So if a student is very passionate about that area, and have some knowledge within that area, then we do 100% consider those students to kind of go on to that postgraduate degree. So if they've, say, worked in that industry for the last 5 years, we will then kind of, and it's a sports industry, then we would consider them, even though if that wasn't their original degree. So yeah, so long as they have their passion there, and relevant experience, then we definitely would consider them in regards to our specialist postgraduate courses.
Brilliant, thank you. Are there any specific conversion courses that are available at Hartpury?
Could you give an example of?
For example, at some universities, you're applying for masters in psychology that does not that is considered to be a conversion program, meaning it does not require background. You can actually apply with any background, and then you can kind of progress within the same subject area onto the next qualification to be a qualified, let's say, psychologist. It's just an example.
No, I don't think we've got any standalone kind of conversion courses here at Hartpury, no.
Yeah, fair enough, because obviously they're quite specialist programs anyway. So like you said, it's either students would need to have specific relevant background, or if they don't, perhaps they can support it with work experience if they're applying for postgraduate programs, or a very strong passion for the subject area, and they are able to justify it as to why they're switching disciplines within their personal statement and CV. And then obviously academics will look into that a little bit in more detail. For postgraduate applicants, obviously, the university does interview applicant, meaning that there will be a chat with an academic just to understand if you've actually chosen the right program. And if the academic feels maybe there is another program better suited for you, they would recommend that accordingly as well. So we will be sharing a full list of courses in case if you haven't received yet, or you're not able to find maybe some information. Please feel free to reach out to our team on the ground as well, and they would be happy to assist further. Another question here I can see is there any way for potential students for Hartpury to get in touch with current Hartpury students to maybe ask about their experience, or if there is any question they would like to, maybe, for example, if a student is from India and they would like to speak to someone from the same region, is there any way to get in touch?
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. So we do have student ambassadors who actually support us in regards to marketing function, and we have a good number of international students on that. So we can arrange a call with one of our student ambassadors, or we can arrange kind of a call or chats with our International Student Society, who are really happy to kind of help support students and speak to them about their experience.
Fabulous. That's really, really good. Thank you so much. And I guess I just wanted to highlight to everyone once again, it's really, really important that you submit your students' applications with a complete package of documents were already available, meaning providing proof of English. The university actually accepts some of the local qualifications as a proof of English. For example, if you're applying from India, have a look at the relevant country page on the university website, or reach out to our team on the ground as well. They will be able to advise what other qualifications can be considered instead of IELTS. Please ensure you submit a strong personal statement as well, and it shouldn't be written using AI, because obviously the university, or plagiarized, because we all check on that before we even pass your case to the university. So please ensure it's actually written by the student, and you demonstrate that you've done research on the university and your future career aspirations, why you've chosen that specific subject area, why you've chosen Hartpury as well. And like I mentioned, if you're applying for any scholarships that require a separate application, then please do submit those as soon as possible. Before we conclude, Sarah, is there anything else you would like to highlight maybe to our audience? Anything maybe we missed at all?
No, I don't think there's anything we've missed. I would definitely say, we are very specialists, but we're very good in what we do in our subject areas. We are one of the top universities for it. So, we don't get many students, probably people experience that want these specialist areas. But if people do come in mind, whether they want to study kind of equine, animal, agriculture, and sports, or even if they want to do psychology or business and actually want to look somewhere which is like a lot more smaller university, a lot more rural, kind of safer university, or very passionate and small community university, definitely consider us and recommend us.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Sarah. You spoke with so much passion. I want to be a student at Hartpury myself now. And thank you to all the attendees here. If you are our partners, we look forward to receiving applications from you for September 2026 intake via GAS Gateway portal. If you are students considering studying at Hartpury, please stay in touch. And obviously, if any questions, do reach out via your educational advisor. And we look forward to welcoming you at Hartpury soon. And for everyone, please stay tuned for more webinars to come. We'll see you at the next webinar, I guess. Thank you so much, Sarah. Thank you, Sukanya. Have a great day.
Okay.
Bye-bye.